So in this particular video, we're actually going to talk about sending images to your Firestore or your Firebase cloud storage. And I've already gone ahead to just add a container, and this container here just has this gray background, and that's all that there is to it. So I think the first thing in this video is actually me going to show you guys how to pick an image using the image picker package. So I've already gone ahead to add this package, the image picker package, and I've also added Firebase storage. All these packages you could actually get from your pub.dev. I've just added them ahead of time, and we also have just this here indicating that okay, we just want to show the user that okay, something needs to be here. And I think to be able to maybe make this more user interactive, I'm going to do something. So first thing I'm going to do is to declare a file. So this is going to be a file, and I'm going to call it, I've already called it picked image, and for no safety reasons, because I don't want to initialize it yet, I'm leaving it blank like this. And once I do that, I'm just going to come down here, and I'm going to also remove, uncomment this code. So basically what we'll have here is just a ternary operator for the child widget of this container. So this container has this child, and what we're doing is checking if the picked image is equal to null. It should show the user that they can tap to add post the image, or but since we're not actually making the container clickable, we're just going to do this. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm just going to write add an image, and this should actually do it. For us. So now this is actually showing that if you actually pick an image, then it's actually going to render an image rather than render the text. So this is what I'm talking of. So we have we have this. So I just need to make it centered. So center. So now it is in the center. Yeah, so we have to add an image. So the very next thing we want to look at is the image picker package. So the image picker returns a future of an X file rather than a file, because if you check the documentation here, you actually see it where they did file image picker and they gave it X file. This X file actually comes from the image picker package itself, because Flutter itself provides you with the file. Flutter provides you with the file library, which comes from the .io. That was the file library. So I'm just going to uncomment this function, and I'm going to explain everything that's actually happening within it. So first thing we need to do is to initialize our image picker package. So this is it here. We initialize image picker. Package. Then after we initialize the image picker package, then we want to actually select an image. So here we're actually selecting an image. So we are actually selecting an X file. So this is it here. It's a class of X file that extends an X file base. So basically the image picker function. So we have select image here, and you just have the X file selected image. It just does, you have to await it, and you're going to just, because it returns an X file, not a file. So it returns an X file, so we are awaiting it. So we're just going to do pick image, because it also has this method called get image. Okay, we need to do select image first. So select image dot get. You can do get image, but you see it actually marks it wrong. And why it's marking this is because this is already deprecated. So I can show you. It says a value of picked file can't be assigned to a variable of this. This is one error. Then it says get image is deprecated and shouldn't be used. Switch to pick image. So we're just going to change get image to pick image. So we're going to pick the image. Now we want to declare the source. So from the image picker library, so you have something like image source. So you can choose between whether you want to use the camera or whether you want to use the gallery. But in this case, we want to use the gallery. You could actually write a different function and just say, okay, we want to choose from the camera. But in this function, we actually like just taking from the gallery. So we've selected an image from the gallery. The very next thing we want to do is to return it. But now Flutter can actually process our next file, because notice here we're actually doing image.file, and if you check, you see we want to the first variable actually passes a file, not our next file. So we have to figure out a way to actually like do this to actually like make it render what we want it to render. So what we want to do is to declare another variable and call it path, and we're just going to pick the file. We're going to pass in the file variable, and the file variable actually takes a constructor of a string path. So we're just going to use selected image, because selected image with null safety actually returns a string. Selected image has a string. It can return a string to you. It can return the name as a string, the path as a string. So we need the path in this case, because the image file package itself could actually like just use the paths given to it to actually like render the image that was actually selected. So you will select an image in your device, and we've already converted it to the path. And when we want to actually render it, you could actually like say, okay, we've already selected this image. Now you could actually like render this image. So the image file package actually like just uses that path to render the image. It doesn't need to know where the image is, as long as you just give it the correct path to be able to render the correct image. So we return this path here. So we're returning just this path. So now the very next thing we want to do is we've written this function, and we could actually like just test our code now and see. Okay, we've written the function, but now for now this button doesn't do anything. This is supposed to be a button, but it doesn't do anything. And this is where the button is actually like written. I can show it to you. So this is print. We're going to just say pick an image. So now I can save this and just hot reload. Then if I click on it, you see it says pick an image. It's just saying pick an image. So what we want to do is once a user clicks this, we want to be able to allow the user to be able to go to their file directory, wherever they have images, and just pick an image. So the first thing we want to do is we've already written the function, so we have to make this our own function. We have to make it an asynchronous function, because it has to await. It's also going to need to await this part, because this is returning a future. It's returning a future, so a future of file. So we have to await it so that we can just do something like this. So we await it, and now we are getting image. Now we see it is coming as file, but if I remove this await here, you should see it change to future of file. So we just need to await it. We're going to await it. Now once we've awaited the image, the next thing we want to do is we want to set the state. And here what we're just doing is telling it that, remember when we declared this variable, and called it picked image, and we then came down here and then checked if the picked image is equal to null, it should show us this text. But if it is not null, essentially the ternary operator checks the right side. If the right side is true, then if the right side returns true, then it does what the right side is saying. But if the right side returns false, it returns what the left side is saying. So this is the right side, and this is the left side. So it checks if this is true. If this is not true, it does this. But if this is true, it returns this and forgets about this. So essentially, this currently the picked image is actually like null. So we are saying add an image. But if we actually like change it, so that's what I'm doing here now. I'm just setting the state and changing picked image from being null to being an image, meaning I'm not giving it this file path that we have here. So you see something like this. We have this file image, and this is also file of the picked image. So now we now have the correct variables here. So if I run this code again, now we can now click on this, and you see it's actually different behavior this time around. It should take us to, yes, so this is what it does. It takes us down here, then we can just pick this image, then it's going to re-render the previous screen, and we have this image currently available, meaning it's no longer showing us add an image. Now it is showing us the image that we actually like picked. So I think in the very next video, what we're actually going to do is now to be able to push this to our Firestore cloud storage, and that will just be it for the entire cloud storage video, because we retrieving the image is just almost the same thing as when you're retrieving simple things from Firestore, because we are going to also need a bit of Firestore with pushing to cloud storage. And when we actually like write the code, you're going to see what actually like me. So I'm going to see you guys in the very next video.